It's amazing. The Liberal Party have just discovered, or shall we say they have released the fact they know that Australia has a constitution. As for the Labour Party, well, they've been ripping it up for years. They had Clayton's referendums by Hawke, and of course wonderful Gough Whitlam. He created the Queen of Australia, which is on the $5 bill with no crown. So let's look at Senator McCullum. Has he been ripped off? Yes.
By a majority of votes. We got a majority of votes. And each senator shall have one vote. The President shall in all cases be entitled to a vote. When the votes are equal to the question, shall pass the negative. It still hasn't been answered. They know that. But the people need to start putting pressure on their senators to say, come on, Section 23 has not been satisfied regarding the 1st of December motion. They know. Brandis is trying to cover this up. There's a group of lawyers running around the Senate and they're saying any paperwork that comes from Culleton, put it through the shredder. Right? They're scared. We've got these people balancing on the edge. We just have to push them and they'll fall over. Okay? That Senate knows where the law expression's coming from. When we were in that office, we had a queue running out that office. Staff members and senators and House of Reps people coming in asking for the Constitution to be interpreted regarding certain points of law. They know we need to start putting their feet forward. On the 21st of July last Friday, he was invited to the Law Institute, Melbourne University, because R versus Culleton, which is the second High Court hearing in February this year, was top of the list to be discussed. So there were a couple of High Court judges. He was actually the only lay person in the room, and when he took the microphone, he had the attention of everybody in the room. Why? Because he's the first parliamentarian since Federation that's made such dramatic changes already in the short time that he was there. And the legal profession acknowledged him for that, and his team. Now, we've got a situation today where they're lining up senators to be shot down, and we've all heard this on the news. They're abusing the Constitution. Okay. Can we pull up Section 47, guys?
47 of the Constitution.
Guys. Jump on the electoral roll. You know, give them hell. We've got 12 senators here in Victoria.
It's up on the thing.
Cool. So we can all read plain English. Okay, you don't have to be a constitutional lawyer. Disputed elections, all right? Until the Parliament otherwise provides. Okay? So there's been no provisions put in place to this day that overrides this section, so it still applies. Any question respecting the qualification of a senator or of a member of the House of Representatives? So any alarm bells going off out there? All right? Okay. Any question or respecting a vacancy in either house of the Parliament and any question of a disputed election to either house shall be determined by the House in which the question arises. Okay? So, does anywhere in Section 47 say it's got to go to the High Court?
No.
No? No. So we're in unison there? Right. So we should be getting in contact with our respective senators. There's 12 here in Victoria, predominantly the Labor Party senators, try and steer away from the Libs, because they're all part of this corruption that they're bringing about. They're attacking, they've got a list of 10 senators they're about to knock off, right? All under so-called dual citizenship. Rubbish. Section 47 has been dealt with by the High Court less than a handful of times since Federation. Right? Now the Law Institute, or the Melbourne Uni last Friday, acknowledged this. Senator Brandis, who's the Attorney General, abused Section 47. Clearly abused it, and he's doing it again today, and over the last week he's been abusing it. And now go to Section 77. Matters mentioned in the last two sections, the Parliament may make laws defining the jurisdiction of any federal court other than the High Court. Oh, it's a bit of a problem. They've made the High Court the Court of Disputed Returns. They can't do that. Section 77(9) prevents them from turning that High Court into a Court of Disputed Returns. Right? What they should be doing, and under Section 49, sorry to chop you backwards and forwards, so 47 allows any question relating to a dispute with respect to any member, okay? So the House has to hear it. Now, the House essentially is a jury of their peers, all right? So their peers make a decision as to whether there should be an action taken, right? Now, under 49, the powers of that House, so the powers, privileges and immunities of the Senate and of the House of Representatives and of the members of the committees of each House shall be such as are declared by the Parliament, and until declared by those houses and the members of the committees at the establishment of the Commonwealth. I'll break that down in plain English. They can issue a penalty under Section 53. They can determine whether, if that member should answer to a criminal charge, then they throw them to the courts, right? But Sections 47 and 49 allow the members to be dealt with in the House first. You don't just throw them straight out to the High Court. Right? We've proven in Culleton's case, and this is what they raised last Friday, the High Court, for the first time, as far as the legal profession is concerned in this country, made an unsafe ruling. That's the words. Unsafe ruling. Very powerful words. Unsafe. It's magic. Alright? Unsafe. Now, in the Culleton case, the High Court cited Section 25, subsection 1 of the Crimes, Sentencing and Procedure Act, New South Wales, right? And they quoted the Act and they abused it. Now, they quoted it in the High Court. This is 5 judges quoted that Act incorrectly. So the ruling against Culleton was that he was under sentence. Right? So therefore Section 44 applied. So because he was under sentence at the time of the election, then he's got to be removed. He's disqualified. Section 25 of the Crime Sentencing and Procedure Act says a sentence must not be imposed if the defendant is absent from the court. The High Court wrote that down as may be imposed, not must. So, these judges and law professors, QCs, you know, the crux of our legal profession, were saying for many years the courts have been making rulings and pulling it out of thin air, no law backing it at all. Cullerton put it on the table as to why. He fixed it, and then they threw him out, and they abused all process in doing so. So what we're trying to do is get as many people to complain to their senators in their states and say, stop listening to your lawyers, and we need Senator Cullerton back in Parliament. Now, when we were in Canberra on the 1st of December, we saw Brandis misbehave, so we put a motion on the floor on the 1st of December, and we got 35 to 22 in our favour to call Brandis back in to answer certain questions. Section 23 of the Constitution.
We've got to keep going now.
On the 21st of July last Friday, he was invited to the Law Institute, Melbourne University, because R versus Cullerton, which is the second High Court hearing in February this year, was top of the list to be discussed. So there were a couple of High Court judges. He was actually the only lay person in the room, and when he took the microphone, he had the attention of everybody in the room. Why? Because he's the first parliamentarian since Federation that's made such dramatic changes already in the short time that he was there. And the legal profession acknowledged him for that, and his team. Now, we've got a situation today where we're lining up senators to be shot down, and we've all heard this on the news. They're abusing the Constitution. Okay, guys. Judge on his electoral roll. You know, give him hell. We've got 12 senators here in Victoria.
The top one.
Cool. So we can all read plain English. Okay, you don't have to be a constitutional lawyer. Disputed elections, all right? Until the Parliament otherwise provides. Okay? So there's been no provisions put in place to this day that overrides this section, so it still applies. Any question respecting the qualification of a senator or of a member of the House of Representatives. So any alarm bells going off out there? All right? Okay? Any question or respecting a vacancy in either house of the Parliament and any question of a disputed election to either house shall be determined by the house in which the question arises. Okay? So, does anywhere in section 47 say it's got to go to the High Court?
No.
No? Good. So we're in unison there? Right. So, we should be getting in contact with our respective senators. There's 12 here in Victoria, predominantly the Labor Party senators, try and steer away from the Libs, because they're all part of this corruption that they're bringing about. They're attacking, they've got a list of 10 senators they're about to knock off, right? All under so-called dual citizenship, Rubbish. Section 47 has been dealt with by the High Court less than a handful of times since Federation. Alright? Now the Law Institute, or the Melbourne Uni last Friday, acknowledged this. Senator Brandis, who's the Attorney General, abused Section 47. Clearly abused it, and he's doing it again today, and over the last week he's been abusing it. Right, now go to Section 77. Matters mentioned in the last two sections, the Parliament may make laws defining the jurisdiction of any federal court other than the High Court. Oh, it's a bit of a problem. They've made the High Court the Court of Disputed Returns. They can't do that. Section 77(I) prevents them from turning that High Court into a Court of Disputed Returns. Right? What they should be doing, and under Section 49, sorry to chop you backwards and forwards, so 47 allows any question relating to a dispute with respect to any member, okay? So the House has to hear it. Now, the House essentially is a jury of their peers, all right? So their peers make a decision as to whether there should be an action taken, right? Now, under 49, the powers of that House, so the powers, privileges and immunities of the Senate and of the House of Representatives and of the members of the committees of each House shall be such as are declared by the Parliament and until declared by those Houses and the members of the committees at the establishment of the Commonwealth. I'll break that down in plain English. They can issue a penalty under Section 53. They can determine whether, if that member should answer to a criminal charge, then they throw them to the courts. Right? But Sections 47 and 49 allow the members to be dealt with in the House first. You don't just throw them straight out to the High Court. Right? We've proven in Culleton's case, and this is what they raised last Friday, the High Court, for the first time, as far as the legal profession is concerned in this country, made an unsafe ruling. That's the words. Unsafe ruling. Very powerful words. Unsafe. It's magic. Alright? Unsafe. Now, in the Culleton case, the High Court cited Section 25, subsection 1 of the Crimes, Sentencing and Procedure Act in New South Wales, right? And they quoted the Act and they abused it. Now, they quoted it in the High Court. This is 5 judges quoted that Act incorrectly. So the ruling against Culleton was that he was under sentence. All right? So therefore Section 44 applied. So because he was under sentence at the time of the election, then he's got to be removed. He's disqualified. Section 25 of the Crime, Sentencing and Procedure Act says a sentence must not be imposed if the defendant is absent from the court. The High Court wrote that down as may be imposed, not must. So, these judges and law professors, QCs, you know, the crux of our legal profession, were saying for many years the courts have been making rulings and pulling it out of thin air, no law backing it at all. Culleton put it on the table as to why. He fixed it and then they threw him out. and they abused all process in doing so. So what we're trying to do is get as many people to complain to their senators in their states and say, stop listening to your lawyers, and we need Senator Cullerton back in Parliament. Now, when we were in Canberra on the 1st of December, we saw Brandis misbehave, so we put a motion on the floor on the 1st of December, and we got 35 to 22 in our favour to call Brandis back in to answer certain questions. Section 23 of the Constitution.
We've got to keep going now.
Yeah.
Of course, this is one of the drawbacks when you have barristers, members of the Bar Association, in politics. They use the little knowledge that they have about common law. They're only interested in commercial law, maritime commercial. So they change the Constitution, sell off stuff, do whatever they like. But now the Constitution is actually catching up with them, hence dual citizenship. I wish them the best, because they're not going to last for long. People are starting to wake up, and that in itself is a miracle.